Na parte da Data Group, vamos iniciar. Abdallah, please, the next slide. O porquê, né, da Data Group, muitos de vocês com certeza já conhecem. A Data Group é distribuidora de produtos, de soluções de cibersegurança, ok? Então, nós trabalhamos para trazer para vocês o que há de melhor no mercado em cibersegurança, de forma a proteger o patrimônio de informação, patrimônio digital das empresas. E por que Data Group, né? Como nós fazemos e como nós diferenciamos dos outros distribuidores do mercado. Abdallah, next one. Porque, basicamente, né, nós temos especialistas e temos nos produtos, né, de líderes de mercado. Então, nós sempre procuramos o que há de melhor no mercado, não somente de bons produtos, mas marcas que têm atenção, que dão bom atendimento para a África, ok? No passado, nós tínhamos até algumas marcas que também são referências, mas que às vezes demoravam meses para poder fazer uma entrega de um appliance, às vezes demoravam dias para dar uma resposta de um suporte, e isso não é aceitável nos dias atuais. Então, nós procuramos os produtos bons, que são líderes de mercado, e mercado não de forma global apenas, mas também para a África, e de forma temos especialistas que estão continuamente buscando melhorias e atualizações. Além disso, a gente consegue ajustar essa solução ao orçamento do cliente. Muitas vezes o orçamento do cliente não tem um budget favorável para a top solução. Entretanto, a gente consegue colocar uma solução que atinge as necessidades do cliente, ao mesmo tempo que cobre o budget atual. Ou seja, para o mesmo problema, nós temos diferentes tipos de soluções. E com isso a gente consegue ajustar, não somente aqui falando da parte de orçamento financeiro, mas também de arquitetura. A gente analisa toda a arquitetura do cliente, todas as necessidades de forma geral, e a partir daí a gente ajuda, né, o terceiro ponto, a gente ajuda a desenhar a segurança do projeto. Então, é uma grande vantagem, porque o cliente não precisa necessariamente ser especialista a todo momento e conhecer todos os fabricantes, conhecer todas as soluções. Nós estamos aqui para fazer e auxiliar nesse desenho, ok? Tanto os clientes finais, como também os nossos parceiros revendedores locais, ok? Então, nós estamos aqui para apoiar. E essa é a grande diferença da Data Group. Nós fazemos uma parte muito ativa no mercado, porque o nosso intuito não é apenas comercializar, mas sim resolver os problemas, trazer soluções, ok? Nesse sentido, ali no quarto ponto, nós falamos também da estrutura de segurança completa de ponta a ponta. Então, nós conseguimos proteger desde o usuário dentro da infraestrutura, né, dentro da companhia, até o fim desta linha, que seria no cliente, ou seja, passando por todas as requisições dentro dos servidores, dentro da borda, dentro da identificação do usuário, tudo a gente tem soluções para cada um dos pontos de trabalho e de proteção dessas informações, desses dados, ok? Na parte ainda de infraestrutura, nós temos soluções que cobrem a parte on-premise, cloud e híbridas. Então, independente onde esteja essa informação, nós conseguimos dar cobertura. Ok? Abdallah, the next one, please. E aqui temos aí algumas das soluções que nós trazemos. Aqui nós não falamos sobre fabricantes, nós falamos sobre soluções. Então, é uma perspectiva diferente que a gente tenta trazer para o mercado. Porque muitas vezes o cliente chega e fala, não, eu quero um checkpoint, eu quero um Hyperva, e chegam a pedir um produto, eles pesquisam, entendem e acham que aquele seria o melhor produto, mas não necessariamente talvez seja o produto ideal para as necessidades. Então, nós criamos essa solução. Então, como um distribuidor de valor agregado, não apenas um distribuidor de produtos, a gente trabalha de forma a entender e desenhar essa arquitetura, essa solução ao cliente. Então, aqui nós temos alguns fabricantes, sim, que nós trabalhamos, alguns parceiros, nós representamos em toda a África, tá? Não somente na parte de Moçambique. Há muitas dessas marcas nós somos até exclusivos, é apenas a Data Group que tem a licença oficial para ser comercializados. E aqui eu quero deixar até um alerta, né? Não somente aos nossos parceiros locais, mas também aos clientes. Sempre que forem comprar um produto, tenham certeza que este fabricante, esse produto, vocês estão a comprar pelo canal correto, por um revendedor autorizado, ok? Porque muitas das vezes dessas soluções, principalmente quando a gente fala de segurança, é importante que vocês respeitem, né, e sigam o canal correto, porque depois da venda, quando há necessidade de um suporte, quando há necessidade de algum contato com o fabricante, se é comprado por outra via, por outro canal, vamos dizer via Europa ou via um outro canal que não seja o canal oficial, isso pode prejudicar o próprio cliente, ok? E às vezes por questão de um preço ou às vezes por questão de não ter conhecimento, acabam tendo problemas maiores depois. Então, sempre que puderem, tentem certificar de que os parceiros locais, que os revendedores locais são oficiais e que a gente está comprando pela via correta, ok? Isso é uma responsabilidade também não somente dos vendedores, mas também dos clientes. É preocupante e a gente já teve vários casos com problemas no pós-venda, ok? Então, aqui nós temos algumas marcas, tá? Hoje nós vamos falar especificamente da Archer, mas nós estamos a programar mais webinars para o próximo ano, ok? Que vamos tratar de cada vez de uma dos fabricantes diferentes, falando de diferentes soluções, e o intuito é trazer sempre conhecimento a vocês, ok? Neste caso, o Cláudio tem uma pergunta aí. Cláudio, pode abrir o microfone?
Bom dia a todos. Não é só uma pergunta, é só nesta lista de soluções falta o CrowdStrike, parece. Bom, tá bom? Só para frisar isso.
Boa, ótima consideração, Cláudio. Essa lista ainda é de 2022, nós estamos só finalizando algumas parcerias, porque todo início de ano a gente atualiza essa lista, tá? E como o Cláudio bem disse, um dos fabricantes que está entrando no nosso portfólio é o CrowdStrike. Nós já conseguimos, sim, realizar a parte comercial, se alguém tiver necessidade, ok? E assim, sempre que precisarem, podem contactar o Cláudio, podem contactar a mim para ter uma representação ou uma questão específica de qualquer um dos fabricantes, ok? Hoje não vou conseguir entrar em mais detalhes com vocês, por a gente não gastar muito tempo aqui. Vamos passar a parte adiante agora por Abdallah. The next one. Ele dará sequência agora na apresentação sobre a Archer, ok? E mais à frente a gente consegue também tirar outras dúvidas relacionadas à parte não somente da Archer, mas também da DataGroup. Muito obrigado pela apresentação. Abdallah, thank you so much for your support with the slides. Yeah, you can change now to English. Please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Paulo. Actually, I was trying to understand as much as I can from your Portuguese, but I got only 2 words, Abdallah and next slide. This is only the 2 things that I captured from here. But again, I will try to practice my Portuguese as more as we speak together, Paulo. Thanks a lot, everyone, for giving us the opportunity and the chance to be with you today. I know that I have to flip in English, so I will slow down the pace a little bit. And again, at any point of time, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to raise your hand, or even you can ask it on the chat on the teams here, and DGIT team will be following on all the questions that will be asked. Again, I will make sure by the end of my presentation to give you enough time to open for any questions or comments. With that said, my name is Ahmed Abdallah. You can go with my second name as an Abdallah. I am the Archer Territory Sales Manager looking after the Archer business across Africa. I have been with the Archer business for almost the last 12 years, majority of my time as governance, risk, and compliance consultant. And nowadays, as I mentioned, for the last few years, I'm looking after the Archer business across Africa. In terms of the agenda for the coming 45 minutes, I want to give you a quick at a glance and quick overview about who we are as an Archer. Maybe some of you heard about Archer technologies before, maybe others not. So I believe it will be a very good starting point to give you a quick at a glance or a quick overview about who we are. And then I will have two interesting topics, which is I would like to cover with you. The first one, which is more related to the risk today, and based on our experience in the African market, what exactly the common challenges that we are hearing a lot in the banking sector or even the non-financial sector across all the industries regarding the GRC governance, risk, and compliance challenges. Most importantly, which is the second topic, will be around what exactly the new approach from GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, versus IRM or integrated risk management, which is I will be walking through what exactly Archer is all about when it comes to the integrated risk management and governance, risk, and compliance. And then if we have time, which is we will, hopefully I will give you a quick demonstration about Archer. It's not meant to be like a deep dive Archer demo, but it's more a quick overview about the solution and how it looks like. As I promised, I will give you enough time end of day to ask any questions that you might have. Yet, at any point of time, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to stop me and ask. With that said, who we are. For those of you who never heard about Archer Technologies, Archer Technologies, we have been in the market for the past 20 plus years of experience, just focusing on risk management as a GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. And Archer Technologies, we have been part from the RSA, which is the very well-known cybersecurity organization, and Dell Technologies, and back in the old days, EMC Square. So we have been part from this entire group for a quite long time, but nowadays we are a standalone company, which is we go to the market as Archer Technologies. But again, just to give you a little background where we are coming from, which is we used to be part from RSA and Dell Technologies. Archer Technologies, we have been nominated in the last 22 straight leadership positions, such as Gartner report, as one of the industry leader when it comes to governance, risk, and compliance, and even the breakdown for all the components and all the pillars related to the GRC. Either we are talking about operational risk here, IT and cybersecurity or technology risk management, vendor management or third-party risk management, audit, control assurance programs. So again, as a leader in this particular area, we have been a leader in the entire GRC landscape, as well as all the narrow down and the different domains and the different pillars related to the governance, risk, and compliance. What about our footprint? We have globally approximately 1,500 different Archer deployments across the entire globe. And it goes without saying, majority of these deployments as well exist in Africa region. And here I'm not talking about Mozambique only, I'm talking about the entire Africa continent, which is the 54 different countries, where at later stage, if you guys are interested to know where exactly we have a customer base, this is something that we can share on one-to-one basis. Archer as a technology from governance, risk, and compliance, it's a very modern technology platform. As within the coming few slides, I will explain to you what we mean by Archer as a modern technology, because it's a modular based. Definitely, from deployment point of view, Archer, it can be deployed either on premises or it could be deployed over cloud. Depends on your IT strategy and your infrastructure strategy and vision. Either you would like and prefer to deploy all your applications and your software on premises, Archer can support you with that. Or if you are up to the cloud and the solution, SaaS solution as a service option, definitely Archer can be deployed over the cloud options if you would like. customer range, Archer, we have a footprint between small to medium kind of customers, which is 100 of employees only, up to central banks in Africa region. Today, they are using Archer with thousands of employees. And this is give you an indicator, depends on your maturity level. Definitely, we have a starting point for you. We have customers across 48 different countries across the globe. Again, the whole idea and the whole purpose here, I just wanted to give you a quick overview and a quick at a glance in terms of who we are as an Archer Technologies. Moving on. If you ask me, what would be the most common challenge and business problem that we are seeing across all the customers that we are talking with? Either you are in the financial sector, oil and gas, public sector, telecommunication, health and care. There is a common business challenge across all the industries, especially when it comes to the governance, risk, and compliance, which is the silos and the Chinese wall between all the different line of defenses. Either we are talking about first, second, or even third line of defense. If we are talking about the audit function, which is your internal audit function, which is what we call them the third line of defense, your compliance team, your enterprise and operation risk, your IT and cybersecurity and technology risk team, your vendor management and business resiliency, 9 out of 10 today in Africa region across all the industries, you will see a silos or a Chinese wall when it comes to the risk function between all these different line of defenses. And this is make it more difficult to aggregate and communicate all of this up to the board of director and the executive management. If you ask me about the second and the third kind of business challenge and business problem, again, 9 out of 10 from the organization, they are running the risk function today on manual basis. Maybe your risk register, as an example, your risk register is everywhere. You don't have a centralized place where you can have all your risk centralized into one single place. Maybe you are still documenting your risk on manual process on Excel sheets or SharePoint. And this is, again, will not give you the risk visibility that you would like to have as a risk manager. Either we are talking about the risk manager from operation point of view or from technology and IT and cybersecurity point of view. And obviously, having the silos and having the manual process, this is leading to a less visibility and less holistic view regarding your risk. And this is where you cannot today with this kind of approach to generate a one single report, a one single view where you can show it to your board of director and your executive regarding your compliance, for example, or regarding your audit landscape, or even regarding your risk landscape if you would like to. With these three common challenges, which is, again, the silos or the Chinese wall between the different line of defenses, the manual processes that you have in place, and last but not least is the reporting and the dashboarding capabilities where you can centralize all of this. The concept has already been changed. And this is the reason why even Gartner themselves, they has already been transformed from using the terminology, which is GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, into what we call nowadays IRM, integrated risk management. Why integrated risk management? Because the ultimate objective here is to integrate all the different line of defenses together to use a common risk function across your organization. Yet, we understand that each and every one of your line of defenses or business unit, they have their own business operation. Maybe what I do in my business function is different from what you do. We understand that. And this is like a normal behavior to have a different business operation function across your line of defenses. But what is not common that each and every one, they have their own risk function. And again, this is where the integrated risk management function comes into play to break the silos between all the different line of defenses and have a unified risk function across all your organization. And will make it much easier when it comes to communicating all of this up to the board of director and the executive management suite. The question now becomes how we can do it in Archer, how we can add a business added value into your risk and compliance and audit function within your organization. Let me explain to you what exactly the Archer offering looks like. Archer has multiple domain areas or risks function, if you would like, starting from compliance pillar or compliance domain, enterprise and operation risk management, third-party risk management or vendor management, whatsoever you want to call it, IT and cybersecurity risk management or technology risk management as well. The third line of defense, obviously, which is the audit management. And last but not least is business resiliency and business continuity. So if I can present it to you in a different shape or even a different format, if you can think about Archer in this Archer wheel, I'm always giving this example, which is think about an octopus. Archer is literally like an octopus with one head and multiple arms. So the one head that I'm talking about in here is Archer, is one piece of software. It's single platform. It's one centralized piece of software that you can rely on when it comes to managing your governance, risk and compliance or integrated risk management. So as we agreed right now, Archer is the head of the octopus. What exactly the arms of this octopus? The arms that I'm talking about is the different domain area that we have within the same exact solution. Again, starting from enterprise and operation risk, third-party risk management or third-party governance, audit management, public sector, business resiliency or business continuity, regulatory and corporate compliance, and IT and cybersecurity risk management. So all of these are the different domain areas that we do have within the same exact solution. What I would like to walk you through in the next few minutes is to give you an overview regarding each and every one of these particular domain area. And let me start by the enterprise and operation risk. Enterprise and operation risk is the domain area that we have in Archer that helps your enterprise and your operation risk team, in other words, help your CRO, your chief risk officer, to manage the end-to-end life cycle of your risk, starting from your risk identification, risk assessment, risk mitigation, and risk monitoring. If you can, guys, recall in my first slide when I was providing the Archer at a glance, I mentioned that Archer is a modern technology. And I promise that I will explain what we mean by this. What we mean by this, that Archer is a modular-based technology. So all you can see on the left-hand side in my screen is the different modules or the different use cases that we have in Archer supporting the enterprise and operation risk. Let me give you an example what I mean by this. The risk catalog module. The risk catalog module is meant only to help your chief risk officer or your risk manager to build a risk register, to build a risk profile, to centralize all your risk into one single view, one single place, instead of having an Excel sheets or even a SharePoint or even a Word document, or even in some cases, we are dealing with some customers, they don't have a risk register yet in place. And this is where the risk catalog comes into play. The risk catalog is meant to help you out, one, building your risk register or your risk profile, depends on which technology, which taxonomy and language you are using. And most importantly, to centralize all of this into one single place or even one single view. What would be the next logical thinking? What would be the next logical step after building your risk catalog or your risk register? Obviously, conducting your risk assessment. And this is where we have two dedicated Archer modules that can help you out conducting your risk assessment. Either you are following the top-down risk assessment approach or bottom-up risk assessment approach, it doesn't matter. In Archer, we have two dedicated modules that can help you out to conduct your risk assessment. Again, in some areas, we can see mix and match between both, which is a common risk framework nowadays to use a mix and match between top-down and bottom-up risk assessment approach. What about your risk appetite? What about your key risk indicators? Do we have a dedicated Archer module that can help you out building your risk appetite? Obviously, yes. Do we have a module to help you out tracking all your losses from operation point of view? Again, yes. Do we have a module to help you out building your control self-assessment, your risk control self-assessment, which is what we call them RCSA and CSA? The answer is yes again. The key point that I just want to highlight it here before I move to the next domain, which is Archer is a modular based. Do I have to start with all these modules from day one? This time the answer is no. You don't have to start with all of that. Depends on your maturity level. Depends on what exactly the business challenges and the business problems that you are facing today. What exactly your key business outcome and objective. We can help you out at Archer Technology and DGIT to identify which exactly the modules and use cases that you want to start with. Moving on, third-party governance or third-party risk management. Now, maybe you guys are doing business with DGIT, right? And maybe you are doing business as well with a lot of technology OEM or vendors. This is exactly a good example for the vendor risk management or the third-party risk management. Within Archer, we can help you out to build your third-party catalog or profiling. And it's not just about understanding who are my vendors. It's really very important after identifying who are my vendors is to conduct a risk assessment against these vendors and managing the engagement and managing the governance piece or the compliance piece against your vendors. Security risk monitoring, where you can conduct a cybersecurity risk assessment against your vendors. And nowadays, there is other intelligence that can help you out conducting a cybersecurity risk assessment, such as Risk Recon or Scorecard or BitSight, if you are familiar with these technologies, where in Archer, we have a native integration with all of them. Conducting a risk assessment can take another shape. Instead of sending a questionnaire by Excel sheet to your vendors, you can automate this entire process through the vendor portal by just sending them a link. They will go ahead, answer the risk assessment, and then you'll have it in Archer. For the sake of time, I will not be able to cover all these use cases or modules one by one. But from audit perspective, this is where your third line of defense can run their internal audit activities in Archer, starting from the audit planning phase up till the audit field work activities, and up till Archer can generate for you automatically the final audit report. And most importantly as well is the issue management, which is what we call audit issues, finding problems, gaps, observation, whatsoever you want to call it, alongside the action plans, the remediation plans. So we have a dedicated Archer module, which is called issue management. It's worth mentioning that the issues should not only be coming from your audit, it could be coming from your compliance team, from your IT and cybersecurity risk management team, from your operation risk team. So the issue management, it can be literally utilized by any of your line of defenses, because you might have issue or problem coming from an audit observation, or it could be coming from simple risk control self-assessment or control self-assessment, which is conducted by your risk team. Business resiliency or business continuity, this is where you can conduct your business impact analysis, your business continuity plans, and most importantly, tracking and managing your incident and crisis. Regulatory and corporate compliance, this is the entire story about your compliance program, which is managing your compliance against any international standards, right? Such as ISO, COBIT, ITIL, NIST, SOX, you can name it all. Even your internal policies, because your internal compliance team, maybe they do have their own internal policies, simple as HR policy, working hours, or dress code, or whatsoever. So all these modules and all these use cases can help you out to manage your entire end-to-end compliance program if you would like. The two modules that I would like to highlight up on is the last two ones, which is the data governance and the privacy program management. And this is dedicated for data privacy. Data privacy nowadays becomes a very hot topic. So we have two dedicated Archer modules and use cases just related to data privacy. Last but not least is the IT and cybersecurity and technology risk management. This is where you can manage your risk from IT and cybersecurity point of view, which is the other side of the coin when it comes to the operation risk. Simple and easy. Managing your controls, managing your compliance, which could be ISO 27K, for example, which is the most common cybersecurity and IT risk management framework, which is, again, 9 out of 10 of the organization would like to comply with the ISO risk management framework. Cyber incident and breach response, where we can integrate Archer with your SIM solution to feed Archer with any cybersecurity incident, so you can look into these cybersecurity incident from risk perspective. Vulnerabilities management, which is, again, integrating Archer with your vulnerability scanner tool to feed Archer with any CVEs. What would be the difference? The difference here will be, instead of looking into a CVE, which is a score 8 out of 10, now Archer will give you another view of it, which is what exactly the risk associated to this vulnerability to your assets, to your business, and so on and so forth. The question now becomes, how many Archer modules do we have in the system across all these different domains? 53. Approximately, we have 53 different Archer modules. Do you have to start with all of them from day one? The answer is no. I have customers in South Africa, in Nigeria, in Egypt. They only started with 7 different Archer modules across all of these domains. And now they have more than 18 different Archer modules. as you are increasing your maturity, because GRC is not just about the technology, it's a business journey. So as you are increasing your maturity day over day, months over months, and year over year, you can keep adding any additional modules into your Archer platform if you would like to. I know that I have been speaking for a quite long time, but before I do a quick pause here to open the floor for any comments or questions or even track the chat room, one of the areas that I did not capture here is ESG. And ESG is really very important to the African countries. If you are requesting a fund, for example, from Central Bank or the Global Bank or the Trade Bank, the only way that the Global Trade Bank gives you a fundraising is after evaluating your ESG score. And within Archer as well, we have a dedicated solution, a dedicated technology for ESG, which is we can speak about it as well in details if you guys are interested in the ESG landscape and you are tracking your ESG score. If your organization is owned by a public investor, public investors nowadays, one of the things that needs to be communicated in the board of director meetings with the public investors or the investor generally is your ESG score as well. Now, let me do a quick pause. Paulo and Carlos, I will need your help. If there is any question on the chat, please let me know. And please, guys, if you have any questions and you feel more confident raising these questions in Portuguese, please go for it. So let me just do a quick pause before we carry on here. Questions, comments? Definitely someone has a question here.
Yeah, there's no questions in the chat at this stage, Abdallah.
Perfect.
So unless
any question from anyone?
Yeah, I think there aren't any hands up either. So I think just proceed to the demo. If anyone does have a question, feel free to raise your hand and I'll stop Abdallah.
Perfect. Quick check here, Carlos. You see my Archer login page? Is that correct statement here?
We do see it, yes.
Perfect. So let me give you guys in just few minutes, I want to give you an overview about Archer. Again, it's not meant to be like a deep dive Archer demo as much as a quick overview about the solution and how it looks like. As you can see on the left-hand side in here are all the different domain areas that I have been speaking about, starting from operation risk, compliance, vendor management, IT and cybersecurity risk management, and business resiliency. And even each and every one of these are brought down into the different modules that I just explained in the last few minutes. If I am the head of enterprise and operation risk for your organization, if I closed my eyes for a few seconds, what I'm dreaming of right now is a one single view, one dashboard, where I would like to see across my entire organization what exactly our enterprise and operation risk looks like. If you can, guys, open your eyes now, and let's try to make these dreams come true. In my screen, what I can see right now is an executive management dashboard for my enterprise and operation risk, where I can see a holistic view regarding my risk management across my entire organization. In terms of, do we have any number of high risk in my risk register? Maybe in my risk register, I have 100 or even 1,000 of risk. As the head of enterprise and operation risk, I'm only concerned about the high risk. Do we have any of these highly risk rated? And the answer is no, because it's showing as a 0 here. Number of qualitative risk rating versus quantitative risk rating. Do we have any enterprise or operation risk losses? It could be with your local currency, or it could be in US dollar, depends on how you would like to track all of this. Can I have a view regarding my risk heat map? Because risk heat map is very informative kind of information for the risk manager and the executive management team. So this is just a quick example where I can have a view regarding my risk heat map, simple as my inherent likelihood versus my inherent impact. As you can see here that I do have 13 risk in the red flag, which is highly risk rated from likelihood perspective as well as from impact perspective. Definitely, it goes without saying, if I click on this box, the system will show me only the 13 risk, which is highly risk rated. And then I can deep dive into each and every one of these particular risks. By the way, these risks, it could be financial risk, operation risk, credit risk, market risk, reputation risk, IT risk, cyber risk, technology risk, you can name it all. This is where, as the head of enterprise risk, I can have a visibility. Again, if you would like to, I can have a visibility regarding all the risk that I do have in my risk register. Let me close this one and come back. I can have a heat map, but this time from residual point of view. What exactly my top 10 risks are. I can see my risk by business unit. What does this mean? This means that in Archer, you can build your risk hierarchy. Sorry, you can build your organization hierarchy in terms of what exactly my business units are. And then you can segregate the risk by business unit. What exactly the risk for the finance business unit, for the HR business unit, for the IT business unit, for the procurement business unit, for the sales, for the compliance, for the audit. So now you can have a segregation of the risks by your organization hierarchy, and so on and so forth. Archer, as a technology, from technical point of view, has an embedded reporting engine, which means that you can build, you can configure, you can customize your own dashboard, your own reports if you would like to. Do we have a limitation on these kind of dashboard and reports? No, we don't. Out of the box. And what I mean by out of the box is the Archer vanilla version is coming and helping you with a set of predefined dashboard. One for business unit owner, for the executive, for the risk project, for the risk manager, and each and every one will give you a different representation and a different view regarding your risk, depends on what exactly my role and my responsibility within my organization. If I jump to the IT and cybersecurity risk management, again, if you can guys close your eyes for a second, if you can think about what exactly I would like to see on my dashboard as the head of technology risk, for example, or cybersecurity, or even the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, or the CIO, or the CTO. Again, open your eyes, and this is what you will see on my screen right now. As the CISO, I can have my own dashboard where I can understand, do we have any data breaches within our environment? Do we have any IT or cybersecurity risk without mitigating controls? Why? What exactly our vulnerabilities looks like? Again, for the sake of time, I will not go through each and every one of these particular reports into details, but this is one of the very common challenges, which is most of the organizations are saying that they cannot visualize the risk management. If I ask you today about your CMBD, your asset, maybe you have an asset management tool in place today. Maybe you have an inventory asset tool. Maybe you have your CMBD. Maybe you are tracking your assets on a spreadsheet. the $1 million question that I will ask for each and every one of you, if you are from technology point of view or from the IT. Do you really understand the risk associated to your assets? And by asset here, I mean, it could be a software asset, it could be an hardware asset, it could be a storage device. Do you really understand the risk associated to your assets component, or are you just tracking them in CMBD? In Archer, we can integrate with your CMBD to feed all these assets and all these components into the Archer technology. But this is not the only objective. The objective is to give you a visibility similar to what I'm showing to you right now, which is what exactly my software is, where exactly my software is deployed, if it's deployed on multiple servers, and where exactly this server is located from geo perspective. Is it on my main data center? Is it on my DR site? And not just that. It's really very important to understand the business context in terms of what exactly the application utilized by business unit, who is using what. And most importantly, you can have your devices by type in terms of how many devices or even how many application enterprise software related, enterprise infrastructure related, product and engineering, and so on and so forth. Only that? No. We are doing this because we would like to help you to build the risk associated behind each and every one of the technologies that you might have in place. So now you can understand what exactly my asset is and what exactly the criticality of this asset could be. So it could be like a software application where in Archer you can conduct your application assessment or your application risk assessment to be more accurate, and the system help you out to identify the criticality rating for this particular application. In Archer, can you manage your SOC, which is the Security Operations Center? Definitely yes, through the integration with your CMBD, through the integration with your SIM solution, where we can feed Archer with any cybersecurity incident. And the ultimate objective is to manage the cybersecurity incident end to end between level 1, level 2, and level 3 to understand the risk associated to these particular security incidents. What about my vulnerabilities? Can I integrate Archer with my vulnerability scanner tool to understand the vulnerabilities and the risk associated? Yes. What about the compliance team? Can I have a dedicated area to manage my PCI compliance, for example? If you are in the financial sector, your NIST compliance, yes, we can. With the breakdown of all the components of your PCI compliance and how far I do comply with PCI in general, as well as the breakdown, which is the compliance rating against each and every one of the PCI clauses, which is predefined in the system. So all these kind of international standards and its correlated control standards are already predefined in the system. What about audit, which is the third line of defense? Archer is designed with the concept of audit risk-based approach. And the audit risk-based approach, this is where your audit team, which is the third line of defense, they can build their audit activities based on risk information. What exactly the top risk business unit that we have in place? And now they can decide and prioritize their audit activities based on the risk information that they have in Archer. Because one of the very common challenges when it comes to the audit is we don't have enough time. We don't have enough auditors. right? And you have to be very smart what exactly I will be auditing this year. Because I do have a limited time, because I do have limited resources as an auditor, I have to be very smart in terms of what exactly the component that I would like to audit. Smart and luck is not enough. And this is where we can help you build your audit prioritization based on risk information in Archer. What about tracking all the findings, the issues, the problems, and the observation? Is it something that we can do in Archer to track all the open findings or issues into one single place by criticality, by type? I can track all my exception requests. I can track all my remediation plans, or even if there is any action plans that needs to be taken by my business owner, which is overdue. All of this can be automated in Archer, and even give you a reminder, give you an email notification. It could be escalated to the manager of the resource that has not been completed the task, for example. Again, all these automations can be simply done in Archer. I know that we have only 4 minutes left here, and as I promised, today's meeting was just a quick introduction to give you an overview about who we are as an Archer Technologies, what exactly the common challenges that we are hearing, and our approach in Archer as an integrated risk management across all the different domain areas that we are offering within the same exact solution, which is Archer, again, is a modular based. And most importantly, I just wanted to give you a quick overview about the feel and look of the solution. With that said, I just want to make sure that we have the coming 4 minutes as an open discussion. Any questions, comments that you guys might have, please let me know.
Yeah, thanks, Abdallah. I think with 3 minutes to go, if there are any comments or questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we've got Claudio in Mozambique and Paul is supporting him. You've seen the details in the chat that Claudio has put his details there. So please do reach out to Claudio and Paul if you need any further information, further assistance, or even more deep dive demo specific to your environment, then please feel free to reach out to Claudio and Paulo. I'll hand over to you, Claudio, Paulo.
Okay,
Paulo, maybe
thank you,
on
Carlos.
mute.
Yeah, thank you, Abdallah. It's a wonderful presentation. Let me just change it to Portuguese now. Mas muito obrigado pela apresentação, a demonstração foi muito interessante. Acredito, é um produto muito complexo, tá? A gente tem muitos módulos diferentes, maneiras de trabalhar. Talvez uma apresentação não seja o suficiente, né, para absorver todo o potencial que a Archer consegue oferecer. Então, nesse sentido, eu queria saber de vocês se tem algum comentário, se tem alguma questão, podem escrever no chat, ou mesmo se quiserem, podemos abrir o microfone para fazer a pergunta, ok? E sugiro também, né, que nós vamos enviar, ao fim dessa sessão, nós vamos enviar a apresentação junto com a sessão gravada, e a partir daí também podemos agendar uma nova reunião, né, uma nova call para poder falarmos especificamente da vossa instituição, ok? Analisar as necessidades da vossa instituição e como a Archer poderia cobrir especificamente com esta solução, né, para a vossa companhia ou vossa instituição, ok? Cláudio, tem algo a contribuir?
Cláudio? Ok, Paulo, já estamos agora na hora. Penso que pode-se parar o webinar e continuar para a frente. Obrigado a todos. Até a próxima vez.
Muito obrigado. Thank you, Abdallah. Thank you, everyone, for the availability. We're gonna share the presentation and also the record session. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thanks everyone for your time. Really highly appreciated. Have a good one.